For better or for worse, memes have become the lifeblood of internet culture. At any given moment, one of your pictures, tweets, or videos could go viral, making you an instant celebrity. Some memes are silly, like the I Can Has Cheeseburger cat, some are completely nonsensical, like Skibbity Toilet, and some memes have even been known to influence financial markets. Specifically, the infamous Doge meme, a picture of a Shiba Inu that went viral, which became a cryptocurrency that was then promoted by Elon Musk, which then led to the currency itself gaining so much momentum that it was used by the Jamaican bobsled team to go to the 2014 Winter Olympics. One picture of one dog changed thousands of people's lives in one way or another. That's the power of a meme. Why do I bring this up? Well, because there is currently no more memeable person in these United States than Ohio Senator and GOP vice presidential candidate JD Vance. Since he was picked by Donald Trump, it seems like there is a new JD Vance meme every week. Everything from old pictures to resurfaced tweets and videos to some memes being completely made up due to JD's general weird nature. So, pop a can of Diet Mountain Dew and grab a spot on your couch. Just make sure JD Vance stays far away from that couch. Why? Well, you'll have to find out tonight on I Do Not Trust This Person, Season 3, The Ballad of JD Vance, the Weird. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of I Do Not Trust This Person. I am Tim, one of your hosts. This is Alanah. So hello. Yeah, we're still talking about JD Vance, but we're decided to break up the previous terribleness with the soon-to-come terribleness, which we'll get to at the end, with a meme episode, because JD Vance is one of the weirdest, and obviously JD Vance the Weird, hence the name of the title, weirdest politicians, and apparently one of the most unliked politicians out there, gets into the very first meme, which was just a fact, and that is what, Alanah?
He is one of the only vice presidential candidates who has had a dip in his favorability rating right out the gate when, most people didn't know too much about him at the beginning, but already didn't really like him. He had like a -3 in terms of favorable versus unfavorable. And then as more came out about him, all of the things, as we know, childless cat lady.
Right before the debate,
all of that, he was at -9.
9, yeah.
So
I heard 11 too, so I don't like
he is the least liked. This is like a has not happened before where someone has this low of a favorability rating and that their favorability rating dips
even more
because usually the vice president, you hear about the vice president, really the job of them is do no harm, just kind of fly under the radar, be someone who speaks positively about the top of the ticket and supports the top of the ticket, but doesn't make negative news on their own, doesn't take attention away from the top of the ticket, is basically what you're supposed to do. I mean, JD Vance has even a lower favorability rating than Sarah Palin in terms of the
That's funny.
The net difference between likability and unlikability, which is funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, and even Trump allegedly, and it's barely allegedly at this point, I think, but regrets choosing him. The campaign says otherwise, but
obviously
it's been heard to say that he's like.
I can't imagine. I remember we talked about this maybe I don't know if it was on a podcast. Maybe it was just a conversation you and I were having about who he was going to pick right back when it was before. Yeah. And one of the things that we talked about with JD Vance, and I think even when we were listening
wasn't even on any of our lists.
He wasn't.
Yes, he was. He wasn't
early on because no one knew about him, and he had just gotten elected to the Senate. I mean, he was
Trump famously said, if I don't choose him, it's because of his beard. Because Trump does not like facial hair. Straight up. That's so true. He almost didn't choose Not Michael Bolton. Is his name Bolton? The guy who hates Iran. He was not Michael. Sorry, Michael Bolton.
What was his first name? Anyway, yes.
He almost didn't choose him because of his weird, funky Colonel Sanders mustache and the fact he looked.
No, but one of the things I remember that once JD Vance was on our radar that we talked about, we were like, he's not going to pick him because he's too young and charismatic in the news. Because he was doing a lot of news,
constantly doing interviews. Yeah,
interviews on And we talked about how JD Vance, Trump doesn't want someone who's going to one-up him, who's going to, so we thought he would go with someone kind of vanilla
Doug
and boring.
He was my it was his Kristi Noem was originally, and then she killed that dog. And then then it was Burgum after that. Or Tulsi Gabbard too. That was
I never thought Tulsi Gabbard was going to be it.
If it wasn't going to be Nikki Haley, Tulsi would have been perfect just because she was a Democrat. She could have brought the middle of the road in.
No, but he was never interested in that.
But he, for some reason, was interested in JD.
I know, which is bizarre.
Well, actually, we know now why he was interested. You're just not going to find out until the next episode. So we'll get to that later on.
I don't know if that's why he picked JD Vance.
Oh, what? No, it has to do. Well, I'll give you a preview. It has to do with Tucker Carlson, the head of Goldman Sachs, Peter Thiel, and a little thing called Opus Dei. Again, next time.
I think that's why JD Vance wants to be vice president.
No, I know,
because he sees a clear path. I don't think that's why Trump picked him.
Oh, it is. No, Tucker Carlson, the head of Goldman Sachs, and Elon Musk all lobbied JD Vance at the 11th hour when Trump was ready to pick Doug Burgum, and they said no, they want him for a crypto reason. At least Elon does, and the rich people do. But then there's the religious aspect to him that we'll get to later,
which we will talk about. Anyway, the point is he is not a likable person.
No, and he's only been in Congress for 2 years too, which is also weird. But the word of the episode, right? The word of the season.
True.
So let's just talk about some of the weirdness. Now, this first story that we're going to talk about is probably the most famous one. It's also untrue that JD Vance had sex with a couch. He did not. I cannot stress that enough. But the fact that he kind of looks like someone who would, is the thing. But where's this quote?
That story, when it came out, I was like, what is happening
it's
right
bizarre.
now?
And it's because someone wrote in a tweet that can't say for sure, but he might be the first VP picked who admitted in a New York Times bestseller to fucking an inside-out latex glove shoved between two couch cushions. Sorry for the absolute vulgarity.
Is that in his book?
No, it is not in his book. Someone just put that out as a tweet,
okay.
a fake tweet, a simple. And I also listened to the book. It's not in there. But the a simple Control F search of the book does not. It doesn't show up. It's not there. He never did that. But people latched on because it's so believable. Because he's so weird. But then what made matters worse is that the AP, the Associated Press, put out an article that said, no, JD Vance did not have sex with a couch. And then they deleted the article because they can't definitively say whether or not he did. They fucked up, and they should have wrote in the article, no, his book does not say that.
Right.
They shouldn't have said, no, he doesn't. So that caused a bunch more memes.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious. And it led to my absolute favorite meme, to someone making a fake AP article that said, no, JD Vance does not stand for Jorkin Depeanus. With JORKINPEANUS is how it's spelled out. And I was like, I cackle laughed for about 30 minutes after it was because this was the beginning of it all. This is well before I even decided to do a show on JD Vance. This was still going to be Ted Cruz at the time. We're coming for you, Ted, especially if you win, because you're definitely going to win. But that also
vote for Colin Allred.
That led to John Oliver even digging into it and asking his campaign, who did not respond.
I mean, the late night jokes in general on this were funny.
Oh man, they're still going. Because you can't definitively say whether or not he did.
And it's just a great.
So that one is still out. He allegedly did not have sex with a couch, but he did absolutely make matters worse when it came out that he tweeted it. A meme of that is titled, where is it? It's taking a second to load on my thing, but it's titled basically "Dolphin Violates Woman and She Likes It." And it's basically a dolphin humping a woman's leg. And it's the title, "Maybe you shouldn't post everything on the internet," was what he posted. However, it also shows very clearly in a tweet that when you search something, it bolds the things you searched. And it was woman dolphin or dolphin woman. And so that led to everybody including me on my own show, and making several different graphics of dolphins and JD Vance and couches and smiles And it was real fun and weird.
That was the kickoff, really.
That
was the introduction.
It was the couch of the dolphins.
Yeah.
And it got weirder from there.
So I know that I don't think this one is officially on your list, but I'm going to just touch on the childless cat lady real quick.
Oh Lord, I didn't even think about the childless cat lady thing because I'm a chauvinist. Everyone, no,
and it's from and I don't have it in front of me, but I know that it's from an interview he did, I think, with Tucker Carlson.
Yes,
and it's a few years old now, maybe like 2018, something like that. It's from a few years ago, but where he talks about, and I don't know if it's in that same interview, but at some point he does insinuate that women without children should not be allowed to vote.
Yeah,
and talks about how the country, the Democratic Party, is run by childless cat ladies.
Yeah,
which is just. That also started a whole meme-ification online of people posting, which culminated in
Taylor Swift.
When Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris, she signed the endorsement at the very end, childless cat lady, which
and then Stevie Nicks followed up, signed hers childless dog lady, which was great. And oh my God, the shirts, TikTok shop is just full of just childless cat lady.
Even
we have signs in our neighborhood.
Harris Walz, I think I mentioned.
Oh yeah,
this.
Harris picked that up. Yeah,
shop is capitalizing on
one
that.
Of our,
so that's a funny one.
I've seen a house around here that has the childless dog, proud home of a childless dog lady or something like that. It's just so dumb that he sorry for stammering, but it's a stammering subject because his family was, again, lots of them didn't have children, or his grandma had miscarriages. To say these people are just childless some are childless by choice, but some aren't. To say that anybody who can't have kids, even their own Republican Party has pushed back on him on that. Trey Gowdy, who was a congressperson and is now on Fox News, some of the best people I know don't have children. What about nuns? You're a Catholic. Nuns don't have children. They might have a cat that's wandering around the fucking parish. It's just the fact that he doesn't think before he speaks. He is kind of like a slightly more well-spoken Trump because he doesn't think before he speaks half the time. Until you get to the debate, which he did. But and we'll get to that in a second. But then he also, on top of just not knowing when to not say and put his own foot in his mouth, it's just watching him interact with people, and just normal people, which is where he gets the whole weird thing from. And here, you've already maybe seen this clip, or maybe you haven't. The audio of it is here, and it's clipped in the description. But this is JD at a donut shop trying to buy donuts.
I'm sorry, man. Okay. She doesn't want to be on film, guys, so just cut.
First from here.
Appreciate that, man. I'm JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Good to see you.
Okay.
Okay.
For this year?
Okay, good. How about you, sir?
Almost 2 years.
Okay, good. Just everything, yeah. A lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff, some of these cinnamon rolls, just whatever makes sense. Okay. How long have you been here?
A little over 6 months. Okay.
So yeah, and the clip unfortunately cuts off because I believe there's a Secret Service person too, or somebody with him he asks what do people usually get, or how many do they usually get? He's like, oh, usually a dozen or two. How do you not know what people get donut wise?
So
you're from the Midwest,
well, actually,
dude.
I guess we did touch on the fact. I guess in his book he talks about how he eats very healthy now, and he
but he still grew up in eating unhealthy.
I know, that's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Also, even if you eat healthy, every human being knows. Every human being in the United States knows that you order a dozen. It's I think
half dozens. It's measured in dozens.
What stands out to me in this clip is that it's so clearly a political stunt. It's a political visit.
The poor girl that didn't want to be on camera
because
too. Yeah.
He says, 2 dozen of whatever. It's it's obvious in his tone of voice there when he says that he doesn't plan on eating these. He doesn't care what he gets in the boxes. No. It's just
whatever makes sense.
But act like a normal person,
Yeah.
act I get being awkward, but it was so overly awkward. And then he keeps asking them how long they've worked there. Like,
how long has this place been open? I thought it was open for 20 years. I wasn't sure. Just kind of walked in.
Do you not have any other topic of conversation? Like, was that, and to that point, even if it is a political stunt, you would think that someone would plan on, give him some instruction on, making it a normal interaction.
No, I don't think they needed to do that at all because most people know how to order fucking donuts, man.
So
like I am JD Vance. I'm running for vice president. Okay.
Like, so
I love her.
Like, God, I do not care.
She's not on camera, but you know what? She's a folk hero nonetheless.
Yeah, so great.
But yeah, so this was a weird interaction. And, famously, we Democrats and, everybody's been calling, the Republicans weird.
Well, Tim Walz,
Tim
right,
Walz,
is the one who kind of
coined the narrative on that because, they ask, they're obsessed with where people go to the bathroom and what you're doing in your bedroom and blah, 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 like all these different weird things.
And I do have to say, just as a side note, as someone, from Austin, Texas, which is known as, keep Austin weird, I do feel like we have reclaimed the word weird to be a positive thing in some ways. Like, it's okay to be off the wall and a little odd. Yeah. But I do.
He's a Midwesterner, though,
right? And
so
I do
weird,
understand.
Strange to him, or just creepy.
And I do get it. At
creepy.
First, when I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, is weird the right word?" But in that context of understanding, kind of the fact that he's from the Midwest, that's how it kind of does make sense. Yeah. And as I watch that clip, I think of it more as just kind of awkward and painful to watch. Yeah. But I can see how his inability to just act as a normal person walking in and ordering some donuts is weird. Yeah,
it's weird. And I'll say that the Republicans, especially Trump, didn't take the weird shit too well. Here's him saying weird, I think 11 or 12 times in the span of 38 seconds.
There's something weird with that guy. He's a weird guy. JD is not weird. He's a solid rock. I happen to be a very solid rock. We're not weird. We're other things perhaps, but we're not weird. But he is a weird guy. He walks on the stage. There's something wrong with that guy. And he called me weird. And then the fake news media picks it up. That was the word of the day. Weird, weird, weird. They're all going, but we're not weird guys. We're very solid people that want our country to be great again. I mean, it's very simple. Let's play.
So thanks, Fox News, for that.
So funny.
But yeah.
Why does he sound like that?
Why? They're not weird. I'm weird. I'm not weird. I'm not weird. Like, dude, chill. Like, he's always at a 10. It's so crazy. Like, but this isn't about him. JD Vance, though, not usually at a 10. He's very docile, which isn't weird. It's just...
It is. I don't trust people that are that calm all the time.
Because Tim is animated, Kamala's animated, Trump's animated, hell, Jill Stein's animated.
It actually creeps me out more. To me, it is like, I think...
Mike Pence was docile too.
Yes, it is, to me, a sign of just a psychopath.
Yeah,
when
a little bit.
Someone is that calm and
it's the quiet ones you got to worry about, right?
Yes,
Isn't that what they say?
It's that calm, quiet, just creepiness. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't like it. I don't trust it.
Well, yeah. And I also don't trust a person either who can't, you know what? I'll say this. I'm a sketch comic. I'm a comedy writer. Leave it to us to do the jokes. Like, don't be so, you can be awkward and quiet, but if you are that awkward and quiet, don't try and make jokes like this one about Mountain Dew being racist, I guess. Or do you think, well, that's the question we should have started with. Do you think Diet Mountain Dew is racist?
I don't even know what he's saying in what he means in this clip, because let's listen.
Let's listen. And audience, you figure it out.
We need voter ID in this country, ladies and gentlemen. If you're going to cast a ballot, show a piece of identification. It is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe, well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but it's good. I love you guys.
So what I think he means is that we like that anything they say is racist, or that anything that we think that anything they say is racist, like that, which is like it was a bad joke. The fact that I have to explain this joke means it's a bad joke.
I'm trying to think about it, right? And what he is saying, I can't remember now what he says at the very beginning. He makes a reference to something. I think he's talking about like political correctness and how the Democrats call things racist, but drinking Diet Mountain Dew, he's like, oh, they probably think this is racist. It's not. But
I love you guys. Like the awkward silence killed me.
He should have stopped because he got a chuckle. He got a chuckle when he said they probably think Diet Mountain Dew is racist.
Probably from a staffer.
He got a couple chuckles and he should have stopped there.
Yeah.
But instead he like said something else. Then no one laughed. Then he's like, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Which was
cringe, as the kids say. Cringy, cringe.
And that's what I think with him, that's how I feel more often than not, is cringy in those moments.
It's whenever I watch him, I mean, dude, especially in the debate, like there's no way to play a clip of this, but him, the memes came out of him that he just constantly was breaking the fourth wall, which he was checking the timer, I think is what we realized. But he kept staring directly into lens on the camera.
It was very
like,
awkward.
Dude, stop.
Yes. I realized after a while, after like the fourth time, because he kept going, his eyes were darting from Tim to the front to the camera. And I was like, what is he doing?
Is he doing a gym from the office? Like, what's happening?
Starting to creep me out. But yeah, then I realized, I was like, oh, he's looking at the countdown.
And it just didn't have like, with his fucking
eyeliner.
It's not eyeliner. He just has long eyelashes.
Yes.
I do too, though, man. And
but you don't look like you're wearing eyeliner.
Exactly. I don't think that's an
else.
excuse, dude. George Santos tried to say it was like, it's just his eyelashes are long and pretty. That's why. Like, George, chill out. Like, and then I think Laura Loomer said that JD's baby blue eyes won over the gays or something like that. I'm like, dude, you are dumb as fuck, Laura. Oh my God. Maybe we should do a special on that psychopath, or just all of the right wingers in general. Ugh, no, I don't want to do that. That's gross. I'm not going to torture you people with that.
Or me.
Or you. Oh Lord, you trust me. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
No, I don't.
Lord. Well, speaking of those people, these right wing podcasters, JD also went on a right winger podcast. I just call them right wingers because they're all a bunch of dude bros sitting around.
He does love a dude bro podcast.
They all do. I mean, Donald Trump famously, we actually had a plan for a long time until so many other things happened to try and get him on America the Podcast, because we saw him at Mar-a-Lago being interviewed by a guy who just had a torn open pack of Miller High Life while he was talking to the goddamn president of the United States. He was the president at the time. I was like, so wait, I can get an interview with Donald Trump?
I guess.
Holy shit. Like we were going to try and catfish. We're not catfish. That's, I don't know what the term is, but we were going to try and just what's America the Podcast? Of course he's going to want to come on that show. Like, no one's going to his people are so stupid they wouldn't fact check us for being a leftist comedy show. But no, he was on this, JD was on this other podcast, and just how he talks about his kids early.
Yeah, this one isn't as funny.
This one isn't funny. This is just like, dude, I get you're on the phone with the president right now and then you're about to be picked to be VP, but you don't have to react how he says he reacted here.
The crazy thing about it is my son, who's 7, is in the hotel room with me. And he's really into Pokemon cards right now. He's going through a Pokemon phase. Are you guys into Pokemon?
I am. Back in the day.
Okay,
yeah,
that's a big phase right now, I think, in general.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's really into it. So he's trying to talk to me about Pikachu. And I'm on the phone with Donald Trump. And I'm like, son, shut the hell up for 30 seconds about Pikachu.
So yeah, don't tell your kid to shut the hell up. I don't know. Like,
I don't
say,
think
hey, buddy. I'll talk to you in just a second. I'm on the phone with a
First of all, I have a few opinions on this. First of all, we did touch in the last episode on how he talks in the book about how he has anger issues and like that kind of thing. So I can definitely see that happening. Also, I feel like the fact that he so specifically brings up Pokemon means that he's probably had this not one time, but multiple times where his kid is talking about probably.
So did you know the Pikachu can evolve into Raichu, but the pre-evolved form is Pichu, and then Ash had a Pikachu at the beginning?
Yeah, he's probably like.
All of that was factually accurate, by the way. I like one of those guys in that
Probably
podcast
like many
said,
of the
he goes,
listeners
"Are you
of
guys
this."
he goes to the guys though. I love. He's like, "Are you guys into Pokemon?" And one guy goes, "Yeah, I am." And he goes, "Oh yeah." Other guy was like, "Yeah, when I was a kid." And the other guys for sure like, "Oh, I mean, yeah, when I was a kid." Like that other guy plays Pokemon Go actively.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, Pokemon is very
Very
widely
super popular.
liked.
It's still going around. I play Arceus.
But here's the thing. I get it, right? Kids interrupt your day. They can be annoying, whatever. But I don't know. There's just something about the tone of voice that he uses that sounds so annoyed that just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
And I just...
Well, it also probably is why he views the fact that this son of his is probably doing what he says he's doing here when he's trying to look for him. Well, not look for him. He's just said, well, they're around here somewhere doing what?
God bless y'all. Thank you, please. Oh, wow. You guys, it is great to be here. It is great to be in Pennsylvania, and we have got 44 days to turn the state red, turn the country red, and make Donald Trump the next president. So we've also got, run around here somewhere, my 7-year-old and my 4.5-year-old. So, and they are thrilled to be in Pennsylvania, but they're particularly thrilled to go to the Hershey Park later today. And as a lot of you with kids will know, it's so amazing when you have kids and you see how innate their personalities really are. So the 7-year-old is probably somewhere around here reading a book. He's like his mother. And the 4.5-year-old is much more like his dad. He's probably trying to find a building to burn down or something like that. Just total Asian chaos. So I apologize. But Vivek, if you're listening, don't do anything crazy, please.
Yeah, so I believe JD Vance is an arsonist, or at least was as a child. I mean, hey, who doesn't like playing with fire?
Sure.
But like, he's trying to burn down a building. If he's anything like me, he's trying to burn down a building. That's what he said. So like, wait a minute. Where were you in what year did an arson happen?
Yeah.
Are you the inspiration for that movie with O.J. Simpson? The Firestarter, that's Stephen King. Towering Inferno. I think O.J. was in that.
It's so, it's like, what? Wait, what did he just say?
Yeah, what did you, okay, wow.
And another what did he just say moment is when he was on... being interviewed by Dana Bash. Was it with, I think it was with Dana.
Yeah, we played it in the last episode where he says
that he creates stories.
Yeah.
If I have to create stories, that was another moment. And it's funny, I remember watching that clip because he says, if we have to create stories, and then he kind of continues talking, he finishes his sentence. And so in my mind for a second, I was like, is she not going to call him on that? But it's like, she very calmly, she lets him finish his pair. Like he says a couple more sentences, and then she comes back and she's like, did you just say what I think you said? Sometimes you really are like, did you think about what you said?
Yeah. And then there are people who, and this is unfortunately, it is an audio medium and this is a visual thing that you're going to have to, I strongly suggest just highlight the BuzzFeed article that is in the description of this and go look at this. He may say weird things, but his party, again, it's not just JD. He's just the leader of the party of the weird, where, which congressperson was it? Oh God, it doesn't matter. Yassified Mr. JD Vance with the help of AI and made him look like, Mike Collins of Georgia. That's who it was. What did I say he looked like here?
You did.
He's much structured. Well, he basically took away all the chubbiness out of his congressional portrait picture and
gave him a very pointed chin.
Pointed jawline. He looks like Jack Reacher, the guy who put on Prime, who's also on Titans and everything. He kind of looks like but then, people got a hold of that.
I still can't get my head around this. A representative
of the United States
of
of Georgia specifically
posted a photoshopped image of JD Vance's official Senate portrait. Why?
With
no explanation.
it's just with good morning. GM, good
Or
morning.
GM, I assume. Yeah, we assume that means
that's
good
usually
morning.
what that means, like at least in Slack. But yeah, like
Why?
it's just not to mention the picture itself. Like he kind of I said, yeah, he kind of looks like Jack Reacher, but he also kind of looks sickly. It looks like a sickly version of JD Vance because JD, he's not. He wasn't. He's a little chubby in the face of the picture, but at least he looks healthy, not like this malnourished version. But then people went on to make it look even crazier, and then someone did Tim Walz, which was funny. And
this is after the debate, so it's like, why?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this small face one is one of my favorites. But go find this BuzzFeed article and look through those. And then there was the very funny post from, I don't think it was one from Quentin Quarantino. I think that's his name on Instagram. But someone said, I'm going to make JD look more cheruby every day until the election. It's just like more chunky faced pictures of JD Vance.
So funny.
It's so stupid. But so yeah, that's all we have.
And what's weird is no, we're not done yet. Hold
we're not
on.
done. We're just done with the craziness on his.
There's no
on his pictures
explanation. Like this happened a couple of days ago, and it's as of this recording, but there's still no explanation of why or it's just bizarre. It's weird. It's bizarre and weird.
We're recording this on the 5th, and this came out, I believe, on when these came out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think.
There's also we're not done. We're almost done, but his debate.
So this is
the magic that he pulled off there.
This is what I really wanted to kind of touch on when you said that we were going to do this episode with all of the memes and everything, because it's just, I did not know about JD Vance until he just came up, like a lot of people, right? Just came onto the scene, being considered as one of Trump's running mates. And it's interesting because at first you are like, okay, this young guy from Ohio, senator, okay, whatever. Then you see these memes and you're like, oh, that's funny. It's kind of weird. That's odd. And then you hear about the childless cat lady and all the other terrible things that he has said. And you're like, okay, I fucking hate this guy. And then you see the awkward interactions that he has with people. And it's like, this guy's just weird. Like, what is even likable, which you see reflected in the favorability ratings.
Yeah.
There's nothing likable about him. The charismatic person that we saw on the TV interviews is not what you see when he's out campaigning. He's weird, he's awkward, he's cringy, he has terrible policies that nobody is in favor of. He wants an abortion ban across the country, blah, 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 all this stuff. Then you see this guy show up at the debate. And what's so interesting is his campaign people did a total misdirect because they came out and said, "Oh, he's going to be on the offense, and he's going to talk about this and that, and he's going to call Tim Walz out on this and that." And the person that showed up to the debate is like this very
slick Yale lawyer who knows how to argue.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but a very reasonable, kind, agreeable, respectful person.
Yeah.
Like, and his favorability ratings have gone up since that debate.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I watched that debate and I think it was both the Daily and the NPR Politics podcast that said the same thing. They talked about how it was almost like it was a magic trick. Yeah. It was like, who is this person? This is not the person that they see on the daily, on the regular, in campaign stops. It's not the person that we've come to know by just watching him and his interactions. I mean, that debate prep, whoever prepped him for it and helped him with it, which I'm pretty sure was Tulsi Gabbard.
It was Tulsi, and then the guy who was Tulsi helped Trump. It was the guy, one of the senators or congressmen from Minnesota that knows Tim Walz really, really well.
That's right. That's right. They did a stellar job.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone can watch. Now, of course, what is so frustrating is that he said a bunch of lies.
Yeah, like one of my jokes on Cute News was, he did great and came off as fully reasonable if you take out all the lies that he told, which was he didn't answer the January 6th stuff, like damning non-answers. Tim Walz said, it was... But making lie after lie after lie, especially on abortion.
But putting that aside, which unfortunately most people watching it
aren't going to fact check that unless you scan the QR code on CBS.
Yeah,
damn it.
But no, he came off. I was just sitting there in shock and awe. I was like, wow, he is he is coming off as likable.
Yeah.
Fully 100% likable. Who is this person?
He's an actor, right?
Yeah. No, it was
that's why, people always call it political theater. I mean, this truly was a masterclass in how to act likable, act like a good debater, which he is a good debater. He's been publicly participating in interviews to debate. But there's still, within all of this, I'll never forget what was one of the things that helped me move on to just start doing JD Vance for this show was, I had called him charismatic in one of my videos, and someone commented like, "What JD Vance are you watching? Like, how is this?" And I was like, "Huh? Like, he seems pretty charismatic." So it was like, what? The joke was basically comparing him to Hitler in a very basic ass way. Which he might be, but he also thought Trump was that. And I'm going to read the quotes that I didn't really get to the last episode because, he said all of these and we cannot forget that. And we cannot forget that how his morals flipped, funny or not, these are things that he said about the man who he is currently running with now. "I'm a never Trump guy. My God, what an idiot. America's Hitler. Mr. Trump is unfit for our nation's highest office. I cannot stomach Trump." Those were things that he said about Donald Trump. He says he came around. We said on the last episode how he had said, if it wasn't for Trump's racism, I'd be all for it, blah, blah, blah. And he made those compromises. And, then we found out in the middle of the episode that you brought up that, Sophia, his friend, had posted that op-ed in the New York.
Yeah, literally that day or the day before that we were recording the episode.
That JD had been baptized in a Catholic sect of the Catholic Church that's post-liberal.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think anything of it. But if you had told me the words Opus Dei, I would have stopped the podcast immediately, got flight passports for our dogs, and we would have started the move to get the fuck out of the country. Because Opus Dei, and I am not exaggerating, they are one of the scariest sects of the Christian church there is. There's the family, there's Opus Dei. There's a lot of scary shit that happens within Christianity. But Opus Dei is quite literally the Handmaid's Tale. They like Amy Coney Barrett served as a handmaid within an organization within there.
Yeah, but let's be clear, it's not the handmaid from the Handmaid's Tale.
It's not. No. I know it's not, but it's the precursor, right? They have been trying to infiltrate the government for a while. This all comes off as conspiracy theory until you just read any given. This is what we're going to
talk about next episode, right? So we'll kind of get into because it sounds conspiracy
theory.
And for me, I am the most skeptical non-believer in anything you tell me.
Sure. But like Andrew Turner from any, multiple of these America the Podcast shows has said, it's right-wing conspiracy theories are always crazy. Left-wing conspiracy theories turn out to be proven 50 years later by the CIA or somebody else.
And
this is one
as
of those.
We'll get into, there's a lot. All you have to do is look up Opus Dei JD Vance, and you'll see that there's a lot of documentation around this. So I am very much looking forward to our next conversation.
Yeah. So, look into it yourself between now and then, and spread the word because they are truly, 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 a scary group. They come off as not scary, they're happy Catholics, blah, 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 blah.
Well, and they try to paint themselves as pro-family,
which
but
is
they don't
what a lot
say
of people
the other
do.
part of it.
Yeah,
so.
they don't look over here like Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, same thing. Like, sorry if you are, but there's a lot of corruption in all religious organizations. But Opus Dei may be small, but like I have always known them to be a very scary cultish group, and I didn't know they were even still around until I saw the two words side by side, Opus Dei and JD Vance, and I said, "Oh fuck." And that is where I'll leave it there for you guys. So, hate to, funny episode left on a downer, but that's kind of JD Vance. He's kind of a downer.
Yeah.
he's a wet blanket of a human being that might accidentally become president. Definitely not accidentally. But like he's a scary, weird guy. And he's not a dumb guy. He's a very smart guy. And that's the fucking problem. He's a weird, smart, awkward, cringy guy. So, all right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks for listening, everybody. We're going to go enjoy beer and sausage at a Oktoberfest festival. So, thanks for listening, and
we'll see you next time. And do something fun for yourself.
Something fun
to relax from the insanity of this election and the stress. As this election is like 30 days away, something like that. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, as of this day.
Gonna go drink some beer.
Goodbye. We love you. See you next time. Been listening to I Do Not Trust This Person Season 3, The Ballad of JD Vance the Weird. The show is hosted and produced by Alanah and Tim Philippi. For a full list of news sources and music used in this episode, please refer to the show notes. This episode was mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. The show's executive producer is Alanah Philippi. I Do Not Trust This Person was created by Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com or americathepodcast.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.